Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter's Reality TV Recaps and Opinions. And today, I want to talk about the most boring installment of the Ultimate Girls Trip. The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. So, the most boring edition is what they should have called it. The other night, I started watching the Real Housewives of New York Legacy, Rhony Legacy, Ultimate Girls Trip. And they are back in St. Bart's. They went to St. Bart's years ago. So let me tell you first of all about my history of the Real Housewives of New York history. Why am I always doing this in videos anymore? Like, what was her name? Alexis it's Alexis from Schitt's Creek. I always am doing this anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, so let me tell you my history let me tell me what you want, what you really want. Okay, let me tell you my history of the of Rhony. It's not my favorite. Okay, I will tell you that the new cast of Real Housewives of New York is, to me, 100 times better than the cast of the past. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I'm probably going to piss off some people because who I like and who I do not like are not the same as everybody else in my life. I'll just say that, okay? For example, I cannot stand Bethany Frankel. Period. End of story. I cannot stand her, okay? So I started watching it with my friend Tanya Jean. I never started watching it from the very beginning, and I don't plan to ever go back and watch all the old seasons, okay? I just don't. So what was I saying? Who did I say? I don't like Bethany Frankel. But I know that storyline because I watched it enough with Tanya. Because I would go over to Tanya's house. We would get a fountain pop. Then I'd go to her house and we would watch like all the reality shows and stuff. There was one back in the day that we watched about a preacher's family. Do you guys remember that one? I loved that reality show. I think it was called like The Preacher's Family or something like that. Or Dad's a Preacher or something like that. But I loved that one. We would watch that one and then we would watch Real Housewives of New York. So, okay. I can't stand Bethany. I still can't stand Bethany if you want to know the truth. Okay? Luann, I'm liking more and more as time goes on. I didn't used to like her, but I thought she made for fantastic TV. But when she was on the Ultimate Girls Trip, the last one, I can't remember where she was at, but I loved her on that, and and then I'm loving her on this season of it. I just like Luann, okay? There's something about Luann that I just really like. Now, Ramona Singer, I always kind of felt bad for Ramona. There's something about her. It's a little bit of how she looks, but it's also kind of like very put your foot in your mouth kind of attitude that she has that my mother kind of had. And there's part of her that kind of reminds me of my mother, except for the most recent bigoted statements that came out from Ramona. My mother, that was not my mother whatsoever. My mother was a hardcore liberal, and she didn't even allow that language in her house. It will be interesting to see after. I think they filmed it so much that they weren't going to not show it. Although the next Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip is being threatened to not be shown because of controversies as well. It'd be interesting to see if that one ever sees the light of day, but that's for a different video. Do I think that Ramona Singer will be in anything on Bravo ever again? I don't know. It's interesting. You know, it's like, you would think that Bravo, especially with Andy Cohen as the executive producer of a lot of this stuff, that they would care more about these issues. But in the past, when some of these things have happened, it takes a while for these people to get kicked off. And then they show up later in other installments or as guests and things like that. It doesn't seem like they really care, you know? So I don't know about all that. I don't know that Ramona won't be in something later and they'll just gloss over and act like it never happened. I don't really know, okay? But I can tell you I'm kind of done with Ramona. I'm not kind of done. I'm done with her. Like, I'm watching the show, but like, she just, I don't know. It's, to be honest with you, it's the lack of awareness of her ever doing anything inappropriate that is just baffling to me, you know? So, Ramona, I've always kind of had this off and on, like, you know, whatever for, but she makes for good TV, right? Except for this season of The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip because she's a complete bore ass, okay? I don't even know why she's on the show. She's completely boring. She is so dulled down. She's not fighting for rooms. She's not getting into fights with anybody. She's boring. She's got a boyfriend now. It's just like, okay, this whole season is so boring. Darinda Medley, I like. I think Darinda Medley makes for good TV. I like Darinda, okay? The Berkshires or whatever, she treated everybody out there like they were at a dog hotel, okay? I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't even know why Bravo did that, to be honest with you. Had all those women to Darinda Medley's house. Like, it's so weird. I can remember watching it, looking at my husband and being like, okay, so Kyle Richards gets to go to Turks and Caicos, to this house that her husband has in his Airbnb, but everybody else has to go. I mean, I felt bad. Okay, I don't feel bad for Vicky and Tamara anymore, but I felt bad for Vicky and Tamara and all them. I was like, and they have to go to the Berkshires? Is this like punishment from Bravo or something like that? And not only that, but then they have like, you know, the house mother of Darinda Medley with the rules of the house and all this kind of stuff. It just was ridiculous to me. I didn't love that season. And Jill Zarin is not one of my favorite housewives either. She'd bore a snake as far as I'm concerned. So it's Darinda Medley, Ramona Singer. Okay, Sonia Morgan is on this season. So it's, okay, here's who it is. Well, okay, I'll just tell you who I liked back in the day. Carol, I loved, okay? Carol don't want nothing to do with it anymore, but I liked Carol back in the day. So anyway, she got problematic too. So then that became a problem, right? I think it's interesting that they have not once in 3 episodes commented about the new cast. They've talked about being fired. They've talked about being put on pause. They've talked about, insinuated they don't know what's going to happen to the Real Housewives of New York. What do you mean you don't know what's going to happen? One of the girls, I think it's Kristen, says, we were all fired, it's over. And then Ramona's like, yeah, it's over, we're all fired. And Dorinda's like, no, I'm on pause. And I'm like, girl, they have a new cast. You're done. Like, they're not going to bring back Real... If this was a test to bring back the Real Housewives of New York legacy, it failed, okay? Because what it proves is they are boring, okay? So here's the cast. It is Darinda Medley, okay, who... she's the most drama on the show because she's bitching and moaning about being on pause, okay? This whole thing, same thing she did at the Berkshires, the same thing she's done everywhere else, okay? I didn't get fired. Andy told me I was on pause, whatever, who cares, okay? So it's Darinda, it's Ramona Singer, and it's Sonia Morgan. I cannot stand Sonia Morgan. I think she is so boring. I think she is a shit stirrer, not in a good way. It's like boring, you know? And she's cruel. Like, she's a mean girl, right? Like, there's a scene in there where Kristen's on there. Kristen now lives in Beverly Hills. I think this might be a test for Kristen to be the new castmate on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I actually think she would make a great castmate of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I like Kristen on The Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip. But her husband allegedly had an affair or was cheating on her on that Ashley Madison, which they call Dolly Madison in the show, the Ashley Madison website. Well, then Ramona and Sonia, but really Sonia, start reading the articles and looking into all this kind of stuff. And then Sonia, after a couple drinks, throws it in her face at dinner. And it's like, well, this article says this, and there's 75 transactions. And I'm like, this woman went through hell with her husband allegedly cheating on her, and you are like throwing this up in her face. And then you're like, and then if you look very closely, Sonia goes, well, we just want to get to know you better. And she does this like look, and I'm like, you are really sick. Like, you are a sick woman, right? That you would throw up in another woman's face, her husband cheating on her, and publicly, that she had to deal with that, and then use that as a way to say, but we just want to get to know you better. This is where people say I don't get passionate about reality. They're like, oh, you ride so hard for these YouTubers you talk about. I ride just as hard for these people I talk about on this channel, too. And I'm like, you are such a mean girl, Sonia Morgan, okay? And you ain't that hot to trot, all right? She's sitting there wanting to show her body off to everybody. I'm like, girl, okay, there is this one scene when Ramona invites these guys out there, and thank God they make jokes of it. And like Luann and Darinda and them and Kelly. And so it's Kelly from Scary Island episode, and then Kristen, who was from back in the day. I think that's it. That's who's on this season. So Kelly, who is really come back to prove that she's not Kelly from Scary Island. But what she proves is she is exactly the same Kelly that was from Scary Island. She's the escalating, losing her mind over every little thing Kelly that we saw years ago on the Scary Island episode, if you know what I'm talking about. And then Kristen, Kelly calls her a super fan because she knows all this stuff about the other housewives. I'm like, are you telling me, like, the Housewives don't watch the other Housewives franchises? Because when they're on Watch What Happens Live, which I watch religiously, I just watched the Julia Roberts one last night. I love Julia Roberts. You want to talk about a class act? I mean, watch that episode of Watch What Happens Live and tell me she's not a class act. Plus, she does the most hilarious Sutton Strack. Name them. Name them. It's hilarious. Next to Andy's Kyle Richards. But I watch What Happens Live religiously with my husband, with Andy Cohen, right? The after show. And he's always asking them about, like, well, who do you like from Potomac? Who do you like from here? They watch all the seasons, right? But then Kristen's on the show, and she basically gets in trouble for watching the show and knowing what happens on the show, and they accuse her of being a super fan. And she's like, and she excuses away and says, no, I'm just watching shows that my friend's on because she's friends with Brandy Glanville, and Brandy Glanville was on the Berkshire's Ultimate Girls Trip, and so that's why she watched it. I would have looked at them girls and say, hell yes, I'm a super fan. I was a housewife, and I love watching the Housewives. What's there to be ashamed of? Don't y'all watch the Housewives? No, because they all think they're better than them, okay? Luann, Ramona, all of them, they think they're better than every other franchise out there. Ramona's made that very, very clear, that she thinks that they were first and all that kind of stuff. She's like, and Vicki Gunvalson and her have gotten into it because Vicki Gunvalson was first, and Ramona's like, yeah, but we're the one that put it in the map. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You want to show about the vapidness of these women? The fact that Darinda Medley, okay, at her age and wisdom and experience, would get into a fight with somebody over being fired versus being paused. I mean, she gets so upset about it on multiple shows, okay? You know, and then Ramona getting so upset about who was first and who brought it, made it prominent, all this kind of stuff. But you don't care about all this bigoted stuff that you put out there in the world. That shows really who you are, Ramona Singer, just so you know, okay? And it's just, like, I don't know. Like, these women, like, they care about the shit that they shouldn't care about, you know? But in all honesty, thank God Leah's not on there, because she was on that last Ultimate Girls Trip in Thailand, and I was like, please do not have Leah on this show. I don't need her. And they were all saying, like, somebody that they wish would be there, and they said Tinsley Mortimer. I was like, Tinsley Mortimer? Oh, my God. She was so boring. Why was Tinsley even on The Real Housewives of New York? She was so boring, okay? So anyway, this whole season, oh, there's a scene, okay, where Ramona, who's now got a boyfriend, she wants to hook Luann and Sonia up, okay? I actually want to look this up real quick. How old is Luann? I want to know how old these gals are, okay? And no, this is not me being ageist. I just want to know, because they start talking about hiring babysitters and stuff like that. Luann, okay, she is 58. She looks fantastic, does she not? How old is Darinda? She's probably the same age. Dora the Explorer, she's 57, it says. Darinda Medley. Darinda Medley's 59. She looks fantastic for her age. Sonia Morgan, I mean, I don't like Sonia Morgan, but she looks good for her age. Let's just be for real. Okay. Sonia Morgan, age. I spelled her name wrong. She's 60. Okay. Do you remember when her and Darinda got in the fight about, I was just telling my friend Nikki this the other day, they got in the fight about, what do you call it, about family crests? And Sonia said that she had this is from years ago, and Sonia said she had a family crest, and Dorinda's like, that's because you married into one, because of the family, you know, the Morgan family. And Dorinda's like, but I have one. Do you remember? It was so ridiculous. But anyway, so there's this scene when Ramona has all these guys come from the restaurant. The way that they feed into it, it makes it sound like she's friends with the person that owns the restaurant, and then it's going to be like him and his friends. So you think it's going to be a bunch of like people their age. Well, it ends up being all the people that work at the restaurant. They're like 28 to 30. Okay? Sonia is the only one that is, like, flirting with these guys. Like, even Luann that dances with one of them, she's even like, okay, these guys need babysitters. Like, they are way too young. Darinda, Kelly, all of them. Sonia is the only one that is, like, flirting with this guys. Anyway. So, the show is boring. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I don't know about you, but I watch Real Housewives, any franchise, anything, okay? For flipped tables, crying, screaming, dramatic storylines. That's what I watch it for, okay? I don't watch it for 6 old friends that were on episode. I don't mean old their age, okay? I mean like that they've been friends for a long time. I don't need to watch a season where they get a paid-for trip to go to St. Bart's, okay? Where there is no drama, and it's just of a bunch of girls that kind of get in a tiff at dinner one night, okay? In 3 episodes. It's really boring, you guys. I mean, it is maybe like the most boring anything of the Real Housewives of ever. Like, if this was their intention for Darinda to get unpaused, it ain't happening, okay? I don't think. Not based on this. Who's watching them? Nobody cares, okay? It is so boring, in all honesty. It is so boring. I'll keep on watching until the end, because I think there's only like 6 or 7 total episodes. But anyway, or 10 maybe, I don't know. So I'll keep on watching until the end, and hopefully something heats up, but it's so boring. The other thing is that Kelly brings these gifts. So this is my thing, right, with the Housewives. I feel like any franchise of the Housewives anymore, they are constantly trying to sell some shit. I'm so tired of it, okay? I am so tired of it. I know people are going to ask me what I think about Luann and that Luann was sober because I've been sober for 29 years. So people are going to ask me. I'm not even going to get into that conversation. I don't feel like that's a conversation that's my place to have. That's Luann's business. Luann needs to make her decisions on her own. Because Luann was sober and now she's saying she drinks on special occasions and St. Bart's is a special occasion. So best of luck to Luann. And I honestly mean that from the bottom of my heart, you know? So, and I will say this, like in recovery, we talk about controlled drinking, that if you don't think that maybe you're an alcoholic, then maybe try some controlled drinking. And if you can handle it, then maybe you truly aren't an alcoholic, you know? I will say, so far in the first 3 episodes, Luann seems to be handling it just fine. So, I wish her all the best in the world with whatever choices that she makes. So, and she does, I was happy that she actually addressed it, because I knew that people were going to say, well, she's drinking on the show, blah, 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 whatever, right? But I am so tired of every franchise, okay? I mean, with Lisa on Salt Lake City, it's constantly about her liquor brand, you know? And then Meredith Marks, it's her jewelry. And Whitney Rose, it's her jewelry, and it's other stuff like that. Heather, it was Beauty Lab, you know? Like, don't tell me that Heather's numbers at Beauty Lab and the reason why she was able to buy a house and all this kind of stuff, this huge house, was, and I love Heather Gay, okay? But don't tell me it wasn't because, and her being able to sell out, like, it's constantly, they're talking about that book, Bad Mormon, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I just feel like, and I love Salt Lake City, I think it's the best season, or the best franchise out right now. But in all honesty, they're constantly selling shit. Constantly. Angie and Monica are the only ones that are not selling stuff on there. Go watch the show, you know? And it's like Beverly Hills, they got in this fight because of over the tequila or whatever. I mean, that was that whole thing last season. And it's just, I'm so tired of all of it. And then Sutton's store, it's just like, it's constantly just marketing, okay? Well, Kelly brings these gift baskets, and they're things that she likes, okay? She's not marketing. She's bringing things that she likes, okay? What's her face on Real Housewives of New York? She just got accused of this. And I think this is interesting that Luann brought it up. Why can't I not think of her name? She was like my favorite from the new cast of Real Housewives. And Jenna Lyons. I didn't have to look it up. So Jenna brings these gifts, and they say it's PR stuff. And she says, no, it's stuff that I was gifted, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. On the new season, it comes across as if Jenna is marketing this stuff. It really does, okay? And so, like, Brynn calls it out, and she's like, this is weird, whatever. On this, it seems like Kelly's just bringing them stuff that she really likes to be nice, okay? The woman's worth a fortune. She don't have to be doing no social media marketing on a TV show and stuff like that. Luann loses her mind over it, okay? Luann's like, I don't like this, and you don't need to be marketing this stuff and promoting this kind of stuff and whatever, right? Okay, but this is what kills me about it. So that's where it shows you that they're watching the Real Housewives of New York, the new cast, very closely, because they just came for Jenna Lyons on this, okay? So Luann's doing the same thing with Kelly. But with Kelly, you can tell it's a gift, okay? What kills me, though, is that through all 3 episodes, okay, Sonia Morgan talks about her OnlyFans, and they are constantly doing cameos in the episodes. Constantly. Like, there's a point where Sonia's doing cameos. Hi, how are you? Happy birthday. Oh, my God, I love you. There's a part where Sonia, Ramona, and Luann are doing cameos all at the same time and talking about, like, oh, if you do a cameo with them, you get 3 for the price of 1 and all this kind of stuff. And then they're even talking about their prices, okay? Sonia's talking about how she's $99.99, and Ramona and Luann are $125 for a cameo. By the way, my cameos are $30. But anyway, so I just think it's like this weird thing. Like, you know what? Get your coin, okay? But don't be coming for Kelly that's giving you nice gifts and being pissed off about the marketing. And then you all are constantly talking about your cameos, and they're like making, like when Sonia said, well, I mean, it's kind of the difference between like $20,000 or more a month. On cameos, you are making $240,000, and Cameo takes a part of the money that you get, right? So that's what they're making after that. She's making she's making $250,000 on cameos alone. And you don't think that you talking about cameos on the Ultimate Girls Trip is going to drive people to go to your cameo? And you don't think that's marketing, but you have an issue with Kelly gifting you guys a bunch of gifts? You are a hypocrite, Luann. Okay? You are straight up a hypocrite. This is why I'm like, they need to stop selling shit all the time on these shows. I'm so tired of it constantly being selling shit, selling shit, selling shit. Like, I love Candy from Atlanta, but Candy can't never show up to nothing anymore to even be in filming. And when she does show up, and she's talking about this movie that she's filming, okay, that you can now watch on Peacock, and they're saying afterwards, oh, this is available on Peacock, or she's in her restaurants, always filming in her restaurant. So if you come to Atlanta, go to one of Candy's restaurants, or she's talking about her play, go see her play, or she's talking about being on tour, go see Candy on tour. It's always that. And I love Candy, right? But I am so tired of watching this shit and constantly being sold something. It's like, you guys, enough is enough. So my reaction to the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Rhony Legacy is, it is boring, okay? It is boring. I think you guys are done. I think, to be honest with you, the only ones that I would want to watch, okay, I'm so tired, okay, of watching Darinda talk about being on pause. So either take her off pause so she can quit complaining about it, or let her know she's fired for good, okay? Number one. Number two, Ramona, she don't need to be on no more Bravo shows after the last incident, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google search it. Number three, Sonia Morgan has been. I'm tired of her, okay? I can't believe she's making $20,000 a month in cameos. Who's buying them? For Crappy Lake? That show was stupid. I didn't even watch that show. I started watching it. I was like, this is so stupid, okay? Luann, I would keep on watching Luann, okay? Kelly, I would watch just because she brings the drama. And Kristen, I think she is better suited for Beverly Hills. And I think that's probably what will happen. I think she might do a transition or, you know, a crossover like Taylor did to Orange County. I think she might do a crossover to Beverly Hills. Because I think she'd be a good castmate on Beverly Hills. I mean, she kind of stirs up stuff a little bit, but she ain't afraid to be honest about stuff, and she's got a good storyline. So we'll see what happens, but I'm telling you right now, unless something heats up, it is boring. It is a waste of time. But like I said, I'm going to keep on watching. I can't not watch it, you know? Let me know what your favorite Ultimate Girls Trip has been so far. I liked Thailand. Okay, Berkshires. Well, the Berkshires was good because there was a lot of drama in there, okay? I mean, Vicki Gunvalson alone brought that show. And then Brandy Glanville, she brought a lot of drama too. But she's apparently getting just decimated for this new Ultimate Girls Trip. I haven't even looked into that stuff, but I don't even think it's going to air, okay? Because Brandy Glanville was so problematic on that show. So, but I like when I'm watching it when it's dramatic but not problematic. I don't know if that makes sense. So, I mean, are we surprised that Brandy Glanville's getting herself in a bunch of shit? She has gone off on Twitter for literally like the last 3 days. I'm defending myself and I'm not letting these people get away from this. I'm like, Brandy, you should have hung it up years ago, okay? So anyway, so my favorite, I think, so far has been the Turks and Caicos with Kyle Richards. I really liked that one. That was a good one. And it was heated. And I love Cynthia Bailey's game. Caused a lot of drama, didn't it? I'm a big Cynthia Bailey fan, though, just so you know. I'm a big, like, I love Atlanta. Atlanta's always my favorite. So anyway, but I have to tell you, a close second, Salt Lake City. I'm loving Salt Lake City, okay? What do you think? I think Meredith is faking Instagram accounts and sending messages to these women. I think it, okay? She ain't never going to come out and say it, but if she ever gets caught red-handed, she is done. I mean, she is literally done for acting like she is so fantastic. If these women find out that it's her, if they trap her some way, Meredith Marks is done. That's just my 2 cents. But you see, this is why I keep on watching, because is she going to get caught? Is she not going to get caught? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.